Morning, Jacob. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning. How you doing this fine Monday morning?
I'm good.
Awesome, me too. I love sweater weather.
I love that we get 2 days of fall weather and it goes back to being warm again.
Right? I'm in Yuma on Thursday, so my brother-in-law is retiring from the Yuma Proving Grounds. I am headed up there.
I haven't been to Yuma in 3 or 4 years now.
Well, they're hoping never to go again. They're going back to their home in Cottonwood. They've had rented for the last, 8 years. So they did a whole bunch of work to it, and I'm really excited because that means I have a home in Cottonwood.
Yeah, Cottonwood's pretty too.
It is. It's beautiful.
I appreciate the campaign that's happening, but I'm tired of getting 10 emails a day, 15 emails a day about it.
Oh, about the
Early voting and donate here, contribute to the
yeah.
account. Get out of here.
Yep.
I woke up to 10 emails this morning alone.
Yeah. I'll be glad to call in at all hours of the day and night.
They're worse than telemarketers. Friggin' presidents. Morning, Tony.
How you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Another day to be great.
This is true.
Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Colleen. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And Jacob? Jacob and I are meeting at 10:30 today.
Nice.
I thought that was tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
It might be.
Look, I have to see. Oh, yes, you are not my 10:30 today.
Yeah.
You are my 10 o'clock tomorrow.
It's all right. Colleen is just a a tidbit behind this week.
Or ahead, right?
Good morning, Dina. Good morning, Teresa.
Good morning, guys.
We're almost at 8 o'clock, which means your day's almost starting. Good morning, Stormy. Stormy got a haircut, looking fresh.
Padres. Oh, okay. Well, I'm a
You want to know how you messed with somebody that just had a haircut? Tell them it's a little uneven.
It's perfect, Stormy.
What happened?
That's mean, Dan.
What did he say?
I was like, Stormy got a
Just
haircut.
plain jealous because you have some hair and he doesn't.
Oh, I have tons of hair. It's just right here. I've spent my entire life trimming my hair short to my head, and all of a sudden, nature took over. And I'm okay with it. If I could find like laser hair removal, I would remove all the hair from here. Just never have to deal with it again. That would be beautiful.
You want me to give you that number? I have it.
That'd be good.
Okay.
No, I had I looked into it a few years ago, and the laser hair removal was not good for fine pigmented hair like mine, my ginger-esque hair.
Yep.
For some reason, the ginger gene keeps us from a lot of things, like tanning.
Tanning is overrated.
It is.
But you've got burning
I have to
down.
disagree. I think tanning is underrated.
Yeah, it was right. I got burning down to an art. Full moon, I'm not going outside without sunscreen. All right. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Adriana.
Good morning.
Everyone's jumping in so far. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I got too much stuff open on my computer right now. Good morning, Mr. Nichols.
Good morning there, Big Dan Caldwell.
That was scary. I liked it. We need to do that more often. Awesome. It is 8:01. We're going to let other people jump in here and get started. We kind of did some shenanigans this morning. I want to say good morning. Happy Monday. It is October 26th, which means that we are 1 week out from deciding the fate of this great country. But that does not mean you should not be working. So I don't care if your clients are saying they're going to wait until after the election to make a decision. Now is the best time for them to do anything in real estate. Why wait until after the hurricane to prepare for it, right? Regardless of what goes down, regardless of what side you stand on, there will be changes in the economy coming in the next few weeks. We want to hedge those out now, so we start talking to people about the potentials that they can earn or save or gain from real estate. So really important that we have those conversations, especially this week, because people are going to be saying this exact line probably over and over. I want to wait and see what happens. Right? Who's heard that already?
Yep.
I want to wait and see what happens. Now, we as professionals need to be able to levy those positions a whole lot easier. And if you know what happens on either side, can you help guide against it?
Yeah, you know something? I'm going to just jump in for a second.
Jump in.
Tell those people to vote Libertarian because that doesn't make any difference.
There you go.
Which way it goes.
Vote in the middle. But I'll ask you this: who's been around for a Democratic president, right? Was real estate still a good idea back then?
Yeah, no.
Okay, who's been around for a Republican president, right? Yeah. Who's been around for a president you couldn't quite tell which side they were on, right? I can tell you one thing, one consistency through all of that is real estate was always a good idea, regardless of political climate, regardless of economics, regardless of what side you're on. We can tell people that real estate has always been the consistent common denominator in economic growth. Cost of goods and services go up and down. The cost of utilities goes up and down. The cost of real estate goes up and down. But year over year, economic cycle after economic cycle, we have seen a positive increase in the yield of real estate forever.
You know, to really punctuate that, we have a form for that called the
Market Conditions Advisory.
I know, the dumbest form in the world, but we have a form for it. Yes.
Yeah, so I want you guys to start becoming comfortable saying that, regardless of what happens, real estate's a good idea. Teresa, you know, I appreciate your call. I think we're just going to hold off on buying something until, you know, after the elections.
I appreciate that. But what really stirs your heart as far as waiting? What's really important about that?
I just don't know what's going to happen. I want
Well,
to see what happens. I mean, I'm worried about the economy
mhm.
taking a dump.
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't. But this time, 3 months ago, it could have been the same thing. You know, none of us really know what's going to happen. And but over time and time again, real estate is the most stable investment you can make. Just think about it. You know, stock markets can plummet or go up. You hold on to that piece of property, no matter if it's goes one way or another, a little teeter, a little totter, but over time, that's the safest and the most economical decision you could make.
I like it. Awesome. I like that you brought in the stock market, because people are looking to invest or investing in two things. What are they? One,
Stock.
stock market.
Mhm.
Two, real estate.
Mhm.
For some reason, people invest in stock market first, thinking it's a guaranteed investment. Let us go back in time, like we're taking a trip on our favorite rocket ship back to 1920. What happened?
Crash.
Stocks weren't worth the paper they were printed on.
Right.
If you owned a farm, guess what?
Wasn't it 1929?
Yeah, 1920s when things went south.
No, 1929. Get your facts straight, buddy.
Well,
Well, I'm pretty sure 1920s covers 10-year span from 20 to 30.
I was there. I remember that when the
When you graduated high school?
started. Yeah.
You graduated high school right when the Great Depression hit? December 3rd, 1929? Okay.
I am working with an investor, and I actually did have this conversation with him. He cashed in his 401, and he's investing in real estate because he believes he can make more money long term investing in real estate than what he had in his 401. So, I mean, I didn't tell him to do it. This was his decision, but I told him real estate is a good investment. So,
For those of you who don't have it, get yourself a copy of Hold. Read it.
yeah.
Invest in yourself. Invest in your futures.
I'm giving one of those to each of my clients who are doing the hold part in investing. And I also ordered some of the flips because I do have 2 new investors who just want to flip. So
I like it.
Out
I
there.
like it. I like it.
You know, if we can use a third-party testimony when people are saying to you, I want to wait, I don't know what's going to happen. Point out to the fact, have you noticed all the new homes that are being constructed, all the new developments that are being created? These are multi-million-dollar companies, multi-billion companies who are investing to build more homes. And they know that no matter what happens, these homes are going to sell now. And they've been through the worst times, they've been through the best times. But you constantly see all these new home developments coming on. You know, they may know something more than what we know. But right now, it looks like no matter who becomes president or vice president or even dog catcher, this is a great time to buy and to sell your home.
So I want you guys to all have the same conviction Dick does, and is looking at the market in total, looking at what's out there, and being able to say that right now we have never seen a real estate market quite like this. What do I mean by that? Is it a seller's market? Everyone head nod, real big. Yeah, seller's market. Is it still great for buyers to purchase real estate? Right?
Yes, interest rates are super low.
Interest rates are almost non-existent. We have interest rates that are lower than the average economic appreciation in anything. Like we have a 3% yield on our inflation and a 2.75% interest rate, which means that your money is going to be worth more in 3 years than it is today, but you've borrowed it at a discount.
I said they're practically giving money away, so why use your savings?
Right.
Don't
That's the
miss
thing,
the
is it-
boat. Do not miss the boat. Do not get caught where the boat leaves the dock and you're still standing there. Because right now, the boats are flying, everything is going well. Do not miss out on this great opportunity.
So, all right, someone else. Who's up for a challenge? Miss Mara. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to wait to sell my house until after the elections.
Well, I can understand that. What's making you concerned?
I'm afraid. I don't want to.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't want to sell in a bad time.
Oh, well, I've shown you all the indicators, and obviously we have a super low inventory. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you'd want to wait?
Well, I hear that the market's already starting to take a dive.
Well, and some of our economic pros are telling us this might be the highest point for sellers. So again, that would point to this is the perfect time for you to sell, because people may start losing their homes and there's going to be more inventory on the market. So obviously I don't want to pressure you, but I do like to consult with you that this is the highest that we've seen for sellers in some time. Obviously no one has a crystal ball, but I would encourage you to take a look at it. And I think this is the best time to sell right now.
I like it. Let's not forget to anchor motivations, right?
Why do you want to sell? Why did you want to sell?
I completely understand that you want to wait until after the elections. I too am unsure of what's going to happen. The one thing I do know is real estate's always been the consistency over time. What's causing you to want to sell in the first place? If we can get back to motivations, we can overcome objections.
Well,
Right.
Something, we are experts in the real estate business, right? Most of the people we talked to never went through Hogan School of Real Estate, ever got their license, ever got their, continued education classes. And right now, the market is super hot. People are buying. People are building new houses. People want to sell their house. People want to move. They want to come into Arizona. This is not going to stop. So if you're watching some news media, I don't know if you believe the news media, could be fake news far right, fake news far left. But I can tell you right now, the real estate market is fantastic. Take a look at whatever you need. You ask me some questions, and I will be most happy to answer them for you. And I'll give you actual facts and data. And this is not going to change right now.
Hey, well, one of those facts is that the last time we voted for president, right? Aaron just told me it was 20 days after we voted for president, the interest rate jumped over 1%.
Actually, it was 1.15%. It was a massive market shift, which right now, if you look at a 1% change in interest rate change, right now, a 1% gain would be nearly 50% increase. People think 1%, oh, it's only 1%, but let's look at the totality. It's 2.5 to 3%. So even if it's 3%, a 1% change is a 33% gain. It means you just cost yourself 33% more for waiting 21 days.
8 days.
Yeah. So no, Stormy's right. We look at history. Last time, like in the Obama-Trump elections, we saw the market dip, and the consumerism was scarce because people were, again, worried about what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, we saw buying and selling kind of slow, and then the interest rate spikes. But back then, the interest rates were in the 4%, not the 3s. That was 4 years ago. In the last 4 years, we've always also seen an average rate of return at 4.6% for real estate, meaning your property appreciated 4.6% in that time.
Well,
So-
we're talking about people who look at the glass being half empty or half full. And the people who look at it being half empty are looking totally at the negative. Our job is to give them some information to say, hey, maybe your glass is halfway full. So they can change it. Now, you can't change everyone's mind, but You know, as Stormy talked about and you talked about there, Dan, the interest rate doesn't make that much difference at 1%. Right now, there's some great deals out here, and everybody, according to everybody's needs, the number one need in the world for people is a roof over their head. The American dream is not going to die because so-and-so became president, all right?
Right, but when it comes to the scripting aspect, I want you to remember those two sentences in order, right? We always said, what's important about that?
Yeah.
I like what Dick, the American dream, anchor back to that, but I could ask Colleen, she hasn't been on these classes anymore, what's important about that? And she's going to answer me.
Well, one of the things, Mr. Seller, that I hear you saying is that you have concern for what the market's going to look like after the election. And what we're talking about today is the current market, the market of today. And most people want to sell when the market is high and buy when the market is low. And the truth is most people do it in between. If you act now, we can get your property on the market in the very peak of the selling market. You know, would you like to meet at 3 o'clock this afternoon or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Did you guys pick
That
up the
was
embedded
so
commands?
good. Oh, I loved that. I just have to say that. Sorry. Thank you.
So right there's some language technologies you use. You use what they call embedded commands. When you sell your property, you sell it in today's market. It's sell today. And if you act now, you guys have all heard the infomercials in the middle of the night. Act now, buy now, but wait, there's more. Colleen just throws those in her scripting. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I completely understand you're looking to, sell your house and wait until after the elections. What we're talking about is a market of today, anchoring it back to the perfect right now. And when you act now, we sell at the top of the market. Yeah. And then I love it. She went in for the appointment. Always go for the appointment.
But aren't we always being trained as professionals that no matter what the market is like, we have the expertise, the resources at our disposal to best represent you, whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market. We have those resources because we are Keller Williams. We have all this stuff going for us, and let us, let's take advantage of the situation.
And you're absolutely right. As a professional, and I want to emphasize that term, as a professional, it is your job to be up to date on the market, to be up to date on how to help buyers and sellers regardless of the climate. Last time I checked, the U.S. Postal Service does not stop because it's raining outside. It does not stop if it's snowing outside. They do not stop if Godzilla himself is standing in front of the mailbox.
I
All
knew
they do is
Godzilla.
they walk up and they put it on the door and they leave a note for Godzilla to please don't block the mailbox again. That right there is the same resistance to the climb that you need to have too, is the resiliency. If it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, can we help buyers and sellers out? Yes. Even in the most extreme conditions in 2008, 2010, we saw the market completely flat belly where we had 7,000 to 12,000 homes on inventory, and we were still selling houses. It was an extreme buyer's market, but they were still selling houses because it goes back to, like Dick said, the fundamental need for food, clothing, and shelter. The good thing is if we pick up the ideas now of getting some investors and really, knowing how the market can help you out, help them out, when it slides to a buyer's market, you've got people with deep pockets, can you stay in business? Everybody can sell real estate in this economy. Everybody. You don't even know what you're doing. You just put a sign in the front yard and sit out there with a purchase contract and someone will come fill it out for you. That is shifting. What we are doing is we are tempering you to get past this climate. We are going to see an economic shift in the next few weeks. It may not be a major one, but every election cycle has brought some consumerism slowdown, which means deals aren't going to be flying off the table. Houses aren't going to be bouncing with 15, 20, and 30 offers over asking price. So when you got a seller or a buyer, especially a buyer that says, I want to wait until after the elections, can we tell them, actually, now's not the time to slow down. When there's less cars on the racetrack, you can go faster. But
That's a
always
good
ask
one.
the question, what's important about waiting? What concerns you about the election? What is it about blank that blanks, right? Reiterate what their statement is, and then go back to motivation. Cindy, what was it that had you wanting to buy a house in the first place?
You may want to ask them, let's in this situation, no matter which way you're leaning, the worst case scenario as far as the politics takes place, are you going to stop drinking beer? Are you going to stop eating, going to fast food or going to restaurants? Are you going to stop living your life? No. Buying and living in a home is part of your life. And the market is more resilient than, let's say, the stock market. The stock market could go up 700 points and go down 1,000 points the next day. The market stays pretty consistent. And as long as you hire me, a professional who understands the market, we'll make it work for you.
I think we have a good understanding how the market is consistent. We can sell that story, right?
Yep.
Head nods. But can we remember to ask the questions? Hey, Miss Stephanie, thank you so much for the call. I think I'm going to wait to buy until after the election.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for talking with me this morning. I'm pretty excited for the elections too. What's your kind of holdup with this fear that you have as the elections are coming? What is it about the election?
The climate, like I hear that everything's going to change. You know, the market might shift, and if I wait a little bit, maybe I get a better deal.
Maybe you would. Well, let's look at some things that are going on right now, and let's sit down and I'll answer all of your questions, and then we'll see if maybe in the next week or so we can find you a place that fits your needs and makes you feel like you're ready to move on this.
Okay. I like it. She didn't even answer the objection. She's like, we'll talk about it. Let's get an appointment. I love it. Sometimes you don't need to handle the objection. I call steamroll, go right past it. All right, who wants to give it a shot? Sarah, you're uncomfortable when I call you out of nowhere.
Always, yes.
Hey, Miss Sarah, thank you so much for your call. You know, I really think I'm going to wait to sell my house until after the election.
You know, I too am kind of concerned with the election, but let me know, what is it specifically that concerns you?
You know, I hear that when president comes into office, that the economy is, might get worse. So why would I want to sell my house now?
You know, that's pretty valid. And in past, we have seen that. However, the market for real estate is always fairly consistent. You're not, unless you're an investor, this isn't one of those things that you're going to sell next year. So your overall return isn't going to be that terribly scary. Plus right now is actually a buyer's market. So even if after the election, you choose to sell then, unfortunately, you can't be guaranteed that it's going to be at the highest as it is right now. So with that, I have availability today at 4:30 or 6. What's better for you?
6.
Awesome. It's only a 15-minute conversation. I will see you then.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Can I ask a dumb question?
No.
Okay, I'm going to ask a dumb question. Someone says to you, well, I'm concerned about the market. Why not ask them, which way are you concerned? Are you concerned that it's going to be Biden or Trump? If it's Trump, you give them an answer. Well, Trump's going to do, this was what Trump's going to do. If it's Biden, this is what Biden's going to do. Each way.
I would stay away from that, Dick. And that's why we ask, what's concerning you about the market, is get them to tell you. Don't guide the conversation. Allow it to be natural.
Well,
I can say, hey, Dick, what's concerning you about the market?
But I'm talking about the emotional aspect. A person who tells you about what's wrong with the market, and that it depends on the election, they've already figured out that they want to vote for Trump or they want to vote for Biden. Now, I will tell them, no matter which way they go, that this is if he wins, your person wins, this is going to happen. If the other person wins, it's not going to happen so much.
And that's the thing is, I would, and I know where you're coming from on that, and I'm gonna put it down on that point is, if you show your hand, Trump or Biden does not matter to me. You position yourself to alienate your client.
No. I said to my client which way they want to go, so I'm agreeing with them.
But that's the thing is, when you ask what's concerning you about that, and they tell you, and then you can follow up with another powerful question is, what would you like to see happen?
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
You don't have to be the expert in politics.
Help them feel that their guy is going to win. I know it sounds like a typical salesperson, prostitute, whore way of answering it, but that's what they want to hear. So our market's going to be great no matter what. But if they are pro-Trump, let them explain themselves. If they're pro-Biden, let them explain themselves and say, hey, you're right. And now let's move on.
I kind of fear, though, that with that type of conversation, it brings up, that's a fine line in that it's now tapping into political emotions. And I think that
Dick, he likes to walk fine lines.
Yes, I see.
Are you going to end up selling everybody you talk to?
Let her finish.
All right.
All I was saying is I feel like that's a fine line that can get one in trouble because, if you don't see eye to eye, then that conversation gets sparked and it's just a rabbit hole I would not personally want to go down.
And for everyone on the call, I want you to stay in your wheelhouse. Like, I know for a fact Dick can handle these situations regardless of who he's talking to. He can dance that fine line, and he can make somebody who's extremely the opposite of his viewpoints align with him and have the friendship. But as a global community, the guys and the gals on this call, I want you to realize that having a pointed point of view creates an element of adversity. You can be adversarial to the person you're talking to, but I like the way Dick's going with it is pulling out more of that emotion to them because of the bold law. Logic makes us think, but emotions make us act. To tie into that, like Sarah said, be careful of the emotion you pull out, because you can take the conversation from one that comes from purpose and has some kind of, train of thought to it where you can baby step it towards the end result of making a buying or selling decision. That's all we're trying to do. And turn it into a conversation of beliefs and politics where now you've completely gone down a rabbit trail and you're tangenting, and then you are fortifying their decision to wait. What we're trying to do is peel the stick of the election off of it. That's why we go back to motivation. Stormy, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. What is it about blank that concerns you? Awesome. All right. Let me ask you, why was it that you wanted to do buying or selling in the first place? What started the thought process of you buying or selling your home, right? What we do is we anchor back to the emotion that created the relationship you guys are forming, not something you can't control. None of us can control the election. None of us can control the participants involved, and none of us can control the media. What we can do is the person we're talking to control the engagement. We can ask important questions, very powerful, pointed questions to guide decisions along with embedded commands like take action now, buy now. I'm sure you've done your research, and buy now you can see that the buyer's market is out there for you with the interest rates as low as they've ever been. Your buying power has never been so strong. What was it about blank that wanted you to do it in the first place? Or what started this conversation out? We have to get back to motivation. We have to stay on motivation, because that's the only way you can anchor back to some sort of purposeful conversation. And when they get down that rabbit hole of, well, F this or F that, they're super polarized. We all know those people out there that are extremes on one way or the other. Then we can peel ourselves out of that situation and remain real estate professionals regardless of our political beliefs and help in the greater good. And if you're going to have a fundamental dispute between you and your client, then turn them, refer them out, because half of something is better than all of nothing.
Right.
So that's where I want you guys to think about is when somebody this week, we're going to talk about it all week. I really want to get the conversation started now until the end of the year of getting people into action. Don't wait. Waiting could cost you thousands. And we can bring up that 4 years ago when the elections happened, waiting 21 days cost you 1%. What does that mean? It means your buying power just went down $30,000 to $50,000 regarding your purchase price to keep your payments the same. That scares people into action. Oh, if I wait? Just like anything else, it's a sale, and sales have a tight, window of opportunity, right? Because they feel like if you miss it, you missed out. And people don't want to miss out. It's human nature not to want to miss out. That's why everything has a deadline and a timeline. Right now, we have another timeline. It's the end of the year. It's the elections. It's that we can throw our own timelines on it. Say if we wait, like last time we saw, 21 days after the election cycle, a huge increase in interest rates, almost a 40% increase. You can tell people that almost a 40 to 50% increase in interest rates. Let their brain do the scariness. Well, I'm waiting to sell my house until after the market or after the elections. I hear the market's already starting to shift. I said that 3 times. I wanted someone to catch it. What could be a response to that? Well, I'm waiting until after election. I'm already seeing the market shift. Why would you want to wait?
The market to shift?
Right.
Because again, we're talking about emotion. And I agree with you, Dan. I totally agree with you. But you don't tip your hand. If you notice the background here, I don't say Biden or Trump. I say vote. I'm neutral in this. But when you're talking to someone who is so concerned that they want to hold back and they're using the excuse that if their person doesn't win, they're worried about it. You don't want to say, well, okay, I agree with you. I don't think Trump's the guy to go for, or I don't think Biden's to go for. You're really cooked. All you're going to say is, look, I understand what you're coming from, but the market is going very, very well. And, if your person, what happens if your person wins? Put it onto them. Mm-hmm. Don't say, hey, I'm all for this guy or I'm all for that guy. Put it onto them, because we have to mirror the client that we're working with. And, there's a lot of people that I work with that I don't agree with politically, or I don't agree with, on a religion or whatever. But do I want to work with them and help them out? My fiduciary responsibility is that I help them out. I will let them guide me as far as their emotion. I will not let them guide me as far as the, as far as the legal things of whatever. All right. But my job is to have them feel comfortable to do business with me. This is not a deal which, okay, personally, I feel this way. I don't want to work with this person. I want to work with everybody, but I also know that not everybody is going to feel comfortable with me or want to work with me. But if I can close in and increase the odds in my favor to get the listing or get the buyer, I will do it. I'm really not a whore, all right? But I understand the emotional impact. And all I'm asking everybody is to ask them if they are saying, I don't want to do anything until the election is over with. Find out where they're at. Find out what really means a lot to them and get them to feel comfortable with you. Do not tip your hand that, if they say that they are looking for a libertarian presidential candidate, that you don't agree with it. All right. Listen to them.
So find the underlying concern, find the underlying motivation, and move forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys got scared on this call. I got some people that are like, oh crap. But I want you to realize that every political climate is accepted, but I want you guys to know that if, as long as we anchor back the concern so we can know how to traverse the land, get us back on motivation, think of the motivation as the anchor to the rope that you're pulling yourself and your client through that BS.
Yeah, and there's four factors here. People buy or they do business with you because they like you, they trust you, they feel you're competent and render good value. You are always constantly presenting yourself in those four factors, because unless they feel comfortable with those four factors, they don't want to do business with you.
Right. I got to end it there, guys. We're 5 minutes over and I got another meeting waiting on us, but we'll see you in the morning. Thanks for jumping on. Happy Monday. Remember, tomorrow is Purple Shirt Tuesdays. If you guys want to participate, I'd love to see the purple and the greatness. Thank you all for jumping on. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Go out there, do something awesome. Get an appointment, sell a house, be a rock star.
Are you having coaching today?
Thank you, Dan.
Yes, 2:30 PC call.